I wish you a pleasant viewing. TIFU by getting a speeding ticket. 24M, is the biggest mistake I've made in a long time. Obligatory happened a few months ago but learned about TIFU by watching YouTube. Also, am a little drunk as I have not much to do these days, so forgive the minor spelling errors. So, this was a massive domino effect. I was in a bad spot, but I've worked out of it. I was 600 pounds girlfriendless, jobless, for the most part, and a NEET. I went to school for tech and graduated. I got a job at Uber and left because I hated working for home and worked for a self-driving car company in the Bay Area that will stay unnamed. I did very well and got a few promotions, and my life was kicking ass at the time. I was learning about a world I had no idea about. I was working for people that worked for Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. It was wild. For most of my life I worked as a security full-time and part-time Call of Duty player. As I got adjusted to my new life, I met cool people and went to parties and world-changing meetings. My job in particular was working inside of the AVS, autonomous vehicles as we called them. Driving and picking up NPCs, as the engineers called them, and got paid more than I have ever as a 24-year-old ex-security guard. I even met a girl who I loved with all my heart at work. I worked for 2 years there and even got a friend to join. This friend loved the job and bought me an economical car so we could both carpool as I commuted to the Bay from 2 hours away. I would pay him back through the job that we both worked at and both made good money at. Life was perfect until I got a speeding ticket. I was on the way home with my first girlfriend and I was 300 pounds from my max at 600 pounds and feeling good, but with my commute I was very tired as I worked nights. I was halfway home when I saw the blue and reds behind me. I got pulled over and got my first ticket. I went home and thought nothing of it. After a while in small talk I spoke to my friends at work about the ticket and they turned white in the face. One told me, "Redacted company, doesn't allow any points on your driving record at all." I panicked and people told me I could fight it, but as it was my first speeding ticket I just paid it and thought nothing of it. It took a while for them to find out and I continued to work. Then my new car broke on the freeway as I got home. I sold my previous car because it was costing me a lot in gas. The mechanic told me the engine blew and recommended I scrap the car. I did just that. I carpooled with my friend for 2 months until he told me one day that he had other plans for his life and that he would quit in 1 month. I was devastated but happy that he had a plan for his life, so I found a coworker that I am living with to commute with. He lived far from me, so I would use my grandmother's car that I lived with at the time to get to his house. This worked for a while until my grandmother told me that our landlord was selling and she would be put in a nursing home by other family members. She was having heart surgery the same time too, but that's another story. She's fine now, less than 3. I ended up finding a place for me and my friend who was living with my grandmother and I at my coworker's house. I lived here for 3 months until I get the call and my job says they've received an issue regarding my driving record and if it wasn't rectified I'd be fired. I tried finding ways to get my ticket expunged, but as I learned, once you pay it you've plead guilty to it. My girlfriend breaks up with me because she's not ready for a relationship, even though it worked until I got fired, and I end up being on unemployment with no car and no qualifications that are any use in any place other than the techie Bay Area. I am applying for any job I can get, and over the many months I've been unemployed I've been rejected from McDonald's to Gand, and any jobs that I can do are too far for me to get to on public transport. I've gone from 300 pounds to 450 pounds and been drinking a lot. I feel like I'm in the same spot I was in before I started doing security, and it sucks. We have no food as my friend works at a movie theater and my roommate works for the same company but keeps his supplies separate. It sucks. He works for the same company because I have to hear people asking how I'm doing and I tell him to tell them I'm doing fine as to not worry them. My little family I have hasn't helped much either. I know it's my fault, but they think I did it on purpose so I didn't have to work or commute. I loved my job and the commute was tolerable because I lived the job so much. I can't even see my grandmother because her eyes are too bad to drive the way up to see me. I feel pretty alone, but my friends are helping me a lot and I've learned a lot of good lessons from this situation. I'm hoping this week with the promising job leads I have that it'll get something going soon, and I think it will, but I feel better getting this out there. If nothing else, I wish I didn't stress eat, but I'm working on it. TLDR, worked my way into a good life and good health and good love, but with a speeding ticket lost each one in the matter of a couple months.